It's the Los Angeles Dodgers against the New York Yankees. What a beautiful blimp shot of Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York City. It is a brisk 52. The wind factor, 16 as you see it. We have variable cloudiness. Game number 6 clearly will be played tonight. The Dodgers leading 3-2 in the series. And it will be a jam-packed crowd, sold out, of course, a long time ago. This ABC Sports presentation is being brought to you by Acme Boot, makers of Acme Real Western Boots. Hello again, everyone. It's good to have you with us here in Yankee Stadium back in New York City. The Yankee fans filled with hope and with fear. One defeat, they're finished, they know it. Yankee people, because we're in New York City, view this series as a group of blown opportunities. But the Dodgers view it as a series of capitalizing on critical situations and coming through. Game number 5, Sunday, 7th inning, score 1-1. And Steve Yeager at the plate against Ron Guidry. Count 0-2. Yeager getting his pitch and depositing it solidly into the left field seats. 2-1 Dodgers. Steve Yeager, a hero again, as he has been so often in postseason play. And so Yeager, an interesting person. I talked with him today.
You've become one of the most interesting figures in the series. A man who asked to be traded, and yet at the same time, suddenly a World Series hero. Might even become the MVP. Does that change your thought about wanting to be traded?
Well, it doesn't change my thought at all. It's the fact that, not that I want to leave Los Angeles or the Dodger organization, because to my knowledge, it's the greatest organization in baseball. Just talking with what I've been here for 15 years and guys who have played for the Dodger organization and want to come back. I just want to play, Howard, and if I can't play here, if I'm going to get 86 at-bats next year, I'm afraid it's not going to set too good with me. If I was 35, 36 years old and at the tail end of my career, I might say that I could live with 86 at-bats, but being 32, I still feel as though I have 4, 5, 6 good years left in me that I can produce and have some production going on someplace, and I just want to play. That's the important thing to me, is playing the game of baseball, doing what I can do the best, and that's go out there and try to do what I can do.
Steve Yeager. The series has also witnessed injuries, one near tragic to both third basemen. The near tragic one to Ron Cey of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the other one to Greg Nettles. And we look at them both now. Ron Cey, of course, victimized by that Gossage pitch. Greg Nettles victimized in another sense, and this is when it happened in the second game. Bill Russell lashing an apparent double down the left field line. Brilliantly stopped by Nettles, but he landed on his left hand. The thumb, as a result, injured. He hasn't played since the second game. The Yankees have lost all 3. I said he stopped it. It dribbled past him, but it still contained the blow to a single. Both third basemen will play tonight. We are just advised about Ron Cey. In the meantime, you remember that. What a tragic scene. Horrible to watch. And Cey fell to the ground. I talked with Ron today.
Ron, at the moment you were struck by the Gossage pitch, did you retain any thought process? If so, what was it?
Well, I was not unconscious after the fact that I was struck by the pitch. I simply laid at home plate in somewhat of a stupor. I was just trying to get my senses back together. And of course, when the trainer did finally arrive at home plate, I was answering all his questions coherently.
Now, today, if you decide that you're able to play tonight, do you think there'll be any fear of the pitch?
I'm not anticipating any real fear of the pitch, Howard. If, in fact, I do go out there tonight, all my temporary problems, of course, will be relieved. I've got to be able to go out there and sustain a good workout and come away with it without experiencing any lightheadedness or dizziness. And if I do that, then I think everything will be okay. I plan on getting a helmet that has an air flap to alleviate any problems of further injury of being hit. But as far as going out there and playing, I don't anticipate going to the plate even thinking about being hit with another pitch.
But you still are afflicted with dizziness, aren't you?
Occasionally I am, and that's one of the things that I've got to find out. If, in fact, I do have those problems, when I do go out and do the workout, then I'm not to allow myself to take the field.
Number 48. Repeat our immediately recent advice, run safe. Practiced, he will play tonight. And I'll be back talking with one of the most important of all Yankees who's got a series of troubles, Dave Winfield, here at Yankee Stadium in a moment. But he is having a very difficult World Series after a very fine regular season, as you can see there. But look at his batting average in the World Series. That problem complicated by the kind of violence we're beginning to expect, tragically, in sports, death threats. And David Winfield has reacted to them probably as anybody would. In any event, I spoke with David moments ago.
David, the question, unfortunately, must be asked. What about these crazies sending you death threats?
How do you answer something like that? When sports comes to that in this country, I don't know what to make of it. It happens in political life. It happens now into sports. I really don't know what to say. You don't appreciate it. We live with it. Society is filled with it. I'm on the field. I'm playing tonight, and I feel all right about it, too.
So you're not frightened?
No, you can't be. I'll just go out and play. I'm not the first. I probably won't be the last. We would hope it would be the last, but there's not much you can say about it. I'm back in New York, and as much as they say about New York, I feel safer here than probably I did the other day on the West Coast.
All right, David. A lot of talk, a lot of ripping about the difficulty you've had at the plate in the World Series. Your reaction to that, your true inner feelings?
Well, Howard, I'm hardly accustomed to being in a situation like this, performing either mediocre or poorly at a critical time. We haven't been in many critical games throughout my career, but basically when you play for the Yankees, you're prepared for this type of thing. There's a big focus on it, but for me to get down upon myself while we're still in the midst of the World Series, we still have a chance to win, and we plan on it. I'm not going to get down on myself. I'm going to keep on trucking and hope it ends up very well. And that's about all I can say.
Keep on trucking. You're a gentleman and a great athlete. Thank you, David.
Thanks a lot. We'll get them tonight.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't. They plan on winning. They hope to win. That's from David Winfield. Now, my colleague, one of the great pitchers of our time, Jim Palmer of Baltimore. Jim, your analysis of the starting pitchers, Hooten and Tommy John.
Well, first of all, Howard, for the Dodgers, we have Bert Hooten. Pitched a week ago, last Wednesday. Pitched an extraordinary game. Lost on an unearned run, an error by Davey Lopes, and a game-winning double by Larry Milbourne. But I think you have to look at Bert Hooten came into the series having won 3 key games for the Dodgers. He beat the Astros once and the Montreal Ball Club twice. But he needed an extra day or two from his regular starting. But will he pitch as well as he should after a week's rest? He's a control pitcher, throws a knuckle curveball and the fastball. For the Yankees, we have Tommy John. Tommy John pitched a great game last Wednesday. Left with a 1-0 lead after 7 innings, made the big play on a line drive by Steve Yeager. We saw him in relief on Sunday. He's a controlled sinker baller. He's going to throw that curveball, and I think the key is where the Dodgers will go to right field with him. It's the only way to beat him, and you saw it in Sunday's ball game. Yeager came up with the bases loaded. He needed a game-winning hit. He went to right field for a sacrifice fly. It should be an interesting game.
ABC Sports presents the 1981 World Series. From Yankee Stadium in New York, the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Dodgers rode home on power in the West to sweep 3 games in Los Angeles and take a 3-game-2 lead. Jerry Royce growing stronger each inning in Game 5. Slammed the door on the Yankees 2-1. The winning margin in Game 5. This home run by Steve Yeager. The Dodgers leading 3-2. They move into Yankee Stadium in New York tonight for Game 6. It may be a chilly night in New York, but Yankee Stadium is filled, and the partisanship, I think, will be very obvious as they're trying to root their Yankees into a win so they can stay alive. It'll be a big ball game, exciting game, and this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to see all the good things for 1982 at your local Chevy dealers. Chevy makes good things happen. By Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. By Gillette, makers of Right Guard Solid with Action Trigger Formula. The more you sweat, the more protection you get. And by General Electric, GE makes products that make life easier and better. At GE, we bring good things to life. Last week, when the Yankees had won 2 in a row here at Yankee Stadium and headed west, it seemed they were in total command. But they get out west, they lose 2 street fights, 1 pitcher's duel, and seemingly they're poised. Question is, will they have their poise back in their home ballpark tonight? They get Greg Nettles back at third base. They get Jerry Mumphy back in center field. They've got the ballpark where they know they can win. The Dodgers, on the other hand, riding the home run, had 4. But remember, 3 of the 4 were to left center field in Dodger Stadium by Messrs. Guerrero, Yeager, and Say. The general speculation seems to be those 3 home runs might not have gone out of Yankee Stadium. And tonight it appears the wind is blowing in from left field and blowing toward right, which could further diminish some of the right-handed power of the Los Angeles lineup. So we'll see what happens as we look ahead to a night where the temperature is going to start in the mid-50s and probably go to the high 40s. The humidity is quite high, but the enthusiasm is at a fever pitch here in the Bronx as Chuck Mangione now will lend his brilliant trumpet to the playing of our national anthem. I'm sure many of you remember Chuck Mangione from his performances and the composition of much of the music that was featured at the Winter Olympic Games in Lake Placid in 1980. The umpires have had their conference with the respective representatives and managers of the 2 ball clubs. The wind is continuing to blow quite briskly and swirling considerably as we move in from the outside to the infield, and it may be a problem in moments of this ball game. To throw out the first ball tonight, the ceremonial first pitch, one of the great names in Yankee history, the little man that some say is the best to ever play his position. Former shortstop, now Yankee broadcaster, Phil Rizzuto. So the Scooters' chores are done, a rousing hand from the crowd, and we're waiting now for the Yankees to take the field as we get underway in Game 6 of the 1981 World Series.